I told her, oh, really? I tell you what, I'd like to deposit my banana with you.
And?
Take my banana and deposit
But
it.
you know, you
So they don't take accounts. That's
Enjoy. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of In Our Humble Opinion.
Ayo!
Yo.
Really, these two don't have kopi. You all didn't drink your kopi yet today, right? On my right, I have things. He looks quite smiley today. Actually, I'm quite happy he's so smiley today. Otherwise, he's usually quite grumpy. But this fella quite smiley today. And when he's smiley, it's going to be a real happening episode, I tell you. He is none other than our Professor Gilbert Chia. Say hello.
Say hello.
Okay. See, now this is when he starts becoming a real smart ass with me. I know this is how the tone of the whole show is going to go.
Hello.
On my left, I have. See, I knew she was going to do that too. On my left, I have the cool grandma. You cool today?
Cool.
Cool, not hot today?
Hot and cool.
Cool grandma,
Hot
Daisy
Milo, cool
Irani Subaya.
Namaste.
See, I got that one right.
Namaste.
Tsupuite.
Yes.
Okay, everybody, today we're going to be talking about a lot of koteks. So many dinglings going around. Why? Because there's, again, for the umpteenth time, we're going to be covering and discussing about sex crimes in Singapore. There's something about sex happening in Singapore, man. It's just what the hell is going on? And the government taking a tougher stance, before you say anything, a tougher stance on these sort of crimes as well. And we're going to talk about that. We will also be discussing about the increase of scamming since 2020 especially. So what is going on in Singapore? We're going to start off with the first story. I'm going to throw this over to the professor, am I right? Didn't plan for that, right?
No.
Okay, it's yours anyway. We're going to be talking about, he's going to be bringing us through this kote who's been jailed for 4 weeks, fined for molesting and harassing a colleague who spoke no English. Gilbert, it's all yours.
Okay, so this case is just one of many, as we know. And I think that the bigger picture here is that there's been a dramatic rise in the number of molestation cases in Singapore, that between 2016 and 2020, there was a 25% increase, almost 25% increase in molestation cases as compared to the 4 years before that, 2011 to 2015. And this is something the authorities have taken note of, which is why they are now enacting new laws to make the punishment more severe. So obviously leads us to a couple of things, right? Why are there more molestation cases in Singapore? Let's just quickly talk about this one case here. He is this man who was working, and this Vietnamese woman was working for him. He took a fancy to her. She did not reciprocate, and then he took it upon himself to basically just molest her. And really, she's really a sad, poor woman, victim. And we obviously frown on that. So no discussion needed there. Let's talk about why there are more molestation cases in Singapore right now. Okay, it's not just a case, I think, of more cases coming to light. I think there is really an increase in the number of cases. My theory about this is that I think that as people go online more and have more access to all kinds of content online, they're probably more influenced and get more desperate and horny, that they are unable to meet their sexual needs. And therefore seem to exist in this fantasy world that they see online where they can just reach out and touch somebody.
Wow, sounds like a song.
That's my theory about it. I would be glad to hear, if any experts actually do a study about this. What do you guys think? Why do you think there's more increase in molestation cases? Do you agree, first of all, you think that the internet and the access to so much online porn and all kinds of strange content is one of the triggers?
Let's go to Daisy. What do you think?
Well, what do you say? Because this is, I feel, to answer your question first, I think we just know about it and hear about it a lot more. And I think even more importantly is that women are willing to speak out. And that's been a very big change. I agree maybe from the molester's part, maybe the sexual molestation, maybe they are getting, like you said, horny by looking at all this porn and available material.
Yes.
But I feel even then they could have got away with it if it wasn't for the empowerment of women now,
Yes.
who are willing to come out. It's okay, I'm Vietnamese, I know I'm in a foreign country, I'm doing a very lowly job, but this is not going to pass.
Yes.
I am going to speak up.
And good for her.
See, there's another thing that I feel, and that is, you see, this is again and again, there are examples of exploiting the powerless.
Yes.
Or someone who depends on you, who cares for you. And, you're a parent, you're a stepbrother, you're an uncle, and you use this. So, coming back to the stiffer penalties, I feel...
No pun intended.
Yeah. I don't like this kind of stiff at all. But the stiffer penalties have been proposed, and we see that the increase is substantial. Will this help? Maybe marginally. But again, there is no guarantee that the problem will be controlled in any way. I have two solutions to this, which I will come up with after Chris says that, yes, what is the reason we are hearing so many cases?
It's the damn porn lie, I tell you. Really? Come on, we've been covering stories like this over the last couple of weeks, right? Look, quoting what we've seen in the Straits Times, Minister Shanmugam cited three cases. A 22-year-old university student who molested a woman on an MRT train. A 22-year-old university student who choked his former girlfriend and pressed his thumb against her left eye. A 23-year-old university student who used a mobile phone to record a video of a woman easing herself in a toilet. Then we have this particular Koteks,
Correct.
who it was, if you read the report that they found, he was also charged with having obscene pictures or videos on his cell phone,
yes.
No,
right? But it's a porn.
No, so the point is that the porn might be the reason, or access to this kind of material might be the reason, but I am heartened to see that the government is reacting to it, or they
of course.
find the
Yeah,
need to
no,
bring
no.
up stiffer penalties.
I like what Minister Shanmugam said. He said this in Parliament. You shouldn't be able to come to court and say you have a bright future. You will go far and so on. You can go far, but first, serve the sentence.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I completely agree. I mean, seriously. I mean, what's wrong with the guys today?
I think that what Daisy said is very key there. I think that women are more empowered to report this. I think that's very important. But very often the experts will tell us, and I think you see this in a lot of the cases, that rape and molestation is not just a crime about sex, and very often it's a crime about power.
Power.
That's right.
It is about domination.
Yeah.
And the case of that guy who pressed his thumb in the girlfriend's eye, he demanded sex from her. She refused it, and basically, he just beat her.
He just
up.
wanted to dominate her.
So Gilbert, coming back to that, the root cause is misogyny. It is disparity of wealth. It is about exercising of power and control over the weak,
But guys,
the not entitled,
guys,
the not enabled. That is,
Yes.
it's very much a show of strength.
Yes.
But
You
guys,
know?
don't you see? I mean, this guy who committed this crime, right? He's 48 years old. But the others that were cited by Minister, they're young guys, 22-year-olds and 23-year-olds. Says, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, but I think that, what Chris said is interesting, and what I had raised about the fact that so much online porn is available. But I think that's a trigger. The what makes them feel emboldened to then act is the feeling of power over the woman.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, you see. So it's a two-step process, you see.
So
I think that, if they feel that they've been triggered, but they dare not make a move, let's say, for example, on another man, right? They're not going to do it. They will just internalize their desire, and deal with it. I think that the imbalance of power is a factor. And very often they pick people who are
like you said,
powerless.
weak and not entitled. That's what they thought about this Vietnamese girl, right?
Yes.
Oh my God, she's weak. She's here. She's not going to open her
Yes,
mouth.
exactly.
But so for that, can I suggest? I've got two suggestions, not
Sure.
even one.
Okay.
A two-pronged suggestion. See, first of all, I think we are looking at stiffer penalties from the minister.
Yes.
He's talked about it. The government is discussing it, debating it. I feel there are two areas which really make a difference. One is loss of credibility, and the second is loss of money. So, how does this work? I feel maybe we should go back to the times of public shaming. You know, very clearly you want to see the face of these people who are actually not accused. I'm talking about after they are convicted.
Convicted.
You see, because you don't want people to misuse. You don't want the women
But you're
to
right. In the past, you used to publish pictures, mugshots of these guys.
I think there should be, you create a wall of shame, goddammit.
Yeah.
And those who are convicted for sexual molestation or sexual offences, I think I'd like to see
Right.
that. Hey,
Yeah.
so that's
Okay.
that's the loss of credibility.
Mugshot
which
of a
really
rapist.
makes the
Loss of
second
face.
loss of face by putting your face.
okay.
The second one I feel should be the loss of money, because I see when there are slander cases, when there are cases of when they're liable for slander, then you're traumatized, and they have to actually the victim has to be paid. Has to be, there is a compensation, like we
Right,
say.
right, okay.
And that, because of that, you lose money. And I think those two would, be a lot of, they would be a deterrent. And that's the way we should
Okay.
go.
What do you
interesting.
suggest? What do you
All right.
suggest?
I'd like to address those 2 points because, I think they're very interesting points. Let's talk about this. Criminologists have often said, and this is an interesting thing, whether or not we accept it, I think is worth thinking about, that penalties don't really make a difference in deterrence. It is what makes a difference in deterrence is whether or not people think they're going to get caught. So you can have the death penalty, but they think very small chance of me getting caught. They will still do the crime. You can have a lower penalty of 5 years jail, but very high chance of getting caught. They won't do the crime. So deterrence is much more dependent upon the likelihood of being caught rather than the punishment itself. If that is the case, then I think we up it and make it so by making sure that people know that there is a very high chance that they will get caught because the women will report.
Yes.
That people who notice things will report.
Right.
That there's no more a complicity of silence.
Right.
I think that's very important.
And after they are reported and convicted, your face will be there.
Sure.
So the other
The
women
problem
know.
with that, the problem with that is that sometimes the victim is related and there is a gag order because if you release the identity of the assault person, the
yes.
rapist,
we
That's
know.
right.
We know.
Yes.
That's the reason it was stopped. But heck, if your cases are going to increase the way they are increasing,
yeah, but the victim may
maybe
not
that
want
is
that. Let's say, for
something-
example, a girl's
So anyway,
molested
give
by
the
her
victim a
stepfather.
choice. Give the victim a choice, I say. Let her decide and say, you know what? I don't care even if he was my stepfather. If he was my stepfather, he shouldn't be doing this
the
in the
point
first
is
place.
then her identity will be in public.
Right. But then
And-
that's her choice.
Sure. But I
Just
think
like
the
these-
problem is that can stigmatize her.
No, true.
In the
But
future.
that's the way you give the choice, right? Just like these women, like we were talking about the woman in NUS, and she went and complained about her vibrator getting stolen. Some point of time in life, at least when we were growing up, I couldn't have imagined that a woman would be able to go there and say that openly.
Sure.
They are
But her
doing
identity
it now.
was kept
right.
quiet.
But
Yeah.
make a choice.
Yeah.
If you choose, no, I don't want to go with it. I don't want to be traumatized by seeing that face all my life. Fair enough.
Back in the day, back in your day, and even back in my day, Daisy, there was no such thing called a vibrator in Singapore.
We don't know.
A lot of people had to impose, you know.
Yeah.
All right, let's
Yeah.
not
We-
stray
we-
off
we-
topic
we
here.
don't-
Anyway,
Yeah.
I wanted. I mean, there are good points, you know, and I think what Gilbert said also makes sense. But let's not, we shouldn't raise pictures, mugshots of the offender.
Yeah, if
right.
it's gonna
and then it's going to
expose
because
the-
society might not be so kind
Yes,
to the victim as
exactly,
well.
exactly.
Because people are, society is really funny.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
I've had people, I haven't had someone on my show before that had a son. He's died via suicide. And she was stigmatized by people.
Yes.
And it's crazy. I mean,
It
what?
is.
But they do that
It's
to
the
pedophiles.
victimization
But-
of
but
the
No, but they
victim.
do that to pedophiles in
Yeah.
the US.
I mean, call me draconian, man, but my solution, my recommendation would be two things. One, that is draconian. Why? Because it's like probably existed in ancient China.
let me guess.
That if
Cut it off.
a guy cut the guy's
Yeah,
nuts
I
off,
know where he's coming from.
put it into a damn jar
Yeah,
filled with vinegar,
I
and
know.
make him walk around
Holding
the whole
it.
country
Yeah,
holding.
That way you can see
It's called
the
the
guy.
eunuch's punishment. That's number one. Number two, I forget.
No, but then you can see the guy holding his
wait.
nuts and walking
Okay,
around.
I think
holding
practically that's just not going to fly. So
And
Yeah.
secondly, second thing, and I said this before, man, we should promote the Use Your Hands campaign.
Okay,
You
Chris.
Okay,
cannot
so
do anything about
on a
it.
serious
That,
note,
that is
Don't
time
worry
for us.
about
That's
the
the cue
calluses
for
in
us
your
to
hands.
move on.
Just
basically.
go for it, and we're gonna
Yeah.
move on
So-
to the next story, and that's about scamming in Singapore. It's taken a real hike since 2020 as well, and this happened. Something happened recently to this particular person who doesn't have a get this, doesn't have a PayPal account. Then one day, she goes to the ATM, or rather, she was trying to pay someone or something, and realized that she only had $7 left in her bank account.
that's so sad.
Someone's been scamming off or skimming off her bank account of a standard amount of $12 something each time. And she doesn't even have through a PayPal account that she doesn't have. She suspects that, she's been receiving phone calls like, I don't know about you guys, but I get that. I get those all the time. When you have a +65, even if it's a +65 prefix, or if it's going to be a plus something country code, we know for a fact by now, for those of us who've got some common sense, that that's a scam call, right? However, she said she hardly answers those calls as well. But somehow, someone got through to her PayPal. Now, this thing is on the rise, man.
Got through to her account. She doesn't have PayPal.
Oh, sorry, got through to her account.
Yeah, her bank account.
Okay, sorry. Thank you for pointing that out. See lah, smarty pants. Okay, so so the government has come up with a mobile app called Scam Shield, and I just downloaded it like about 1 hour ago to see whether the damn thing works lah. But so far, I don't have a scam call to report lah. When I get a scam call, I'll tell you guys how it
Okay,
works.
so
lah.
the Scam Shield basically is just a list of known phone numbers from which scammers call. So it's not really very useful because the numbers are so portable and so mobile, and they keep changing and all of that, and they can't update that. I think the bottom line basically is that one of the big reasons why there's such an increase in cyber scams is the simple reason that so many more people are using cyberspace and using the internet for so many more transactions. So it opens people up. But there are a couple of things here that jump out at me about this story, which I think is representative of scams in general. Okay, first of all, you got to watch your account. So this woman had a small amount, $12.44, deducted multiple times, didn't notice it until she was left with no money. So obviously, for everyone out there, just pay attention to your account. If anything is deducted that is unauthorized, even if it's a relatively small amount, please pay attention to that. Secondly is treat every incoming call as a potential scam. You got to have that hyper cyber mentality.
Well, I'm not going to put down the phone if my mother calls me.
I
Be
think
like
your
a
mom
like a detective yourself.
Yeah. Well, just be suspicious, I think that there are a lot, and generally, I say generally because it's not always the case, the people who are scammed are the older folks because they're less tech savvy. They also come from a generation, I think, where the trust in anything that vaguely authoritative, is there. So they're less suspicious. I mean, certainly you look at the kind of WhatsApp nonsense that goes around that older people just believe in because they're getting on WhatsApp. They believe in it, they share it, right? So be suspicious. I think you just have to protect yourself that way.
I'll tell you what we do, Daisy. Starting tonight, every night, 8:30 p.m., we all use different phones and we call
And
Gilbert.
call Gilbert.
Yeah. And we'll see what he does.
But,
You can be sure I'm not going to fall for that.
okay, so I just want to say it's $201 million was lost to scams. 15,756 scam
Is that global
cases.
or is that
No, we are looking at
in Singapore?
Pushing the crime rate to its highest, like you said, since 2000.
Yeah, Carousel's
But
the highest number, man.
Yeah, but I just want to go take a different tack and say, okay, why are these scams happening, or what are the reasons? And once again, that scams are about enticing people and by taking advantage of the vulnerability of people. Because, people are lonely, there's financial distress, maybe there's sexual repression, they want to get rich fast. And this then manifests itself in the feelings of greed, in the feelings of sadness, desperation. Because I truly think that, human beings are flawed. We are weak. We have those moments of weakness where you want to believe that this is true and that you can get rich immediately. I mean, come on, we are scammed into becoming terrorists, for God's sake, online today. So I feel that there are soft targets, They're out there, these scammers, they'll go for 10,000 people. Even if you hit one, you're okay. And I'll tell you what, since 2010 in Crime Watch, one of the shows I used to produce for MediaCorp, from that time, this messaging, this showing of scams on television, watch out, has been going on, especially love scams. And like you correctly said, they use trusted mediums, Lazada, Carousel, Tinder for the love scams. And yet, people somehow feel, not me. I will never be scammed. And they do get scammed.
Right. I think that if you actually look at the statistics, the number one category of scams is not the love scams anymore, but the e-commerce scams, which makes sense because we're buying more and more stuff online.
Yep.
So, this is actually very dangerous because it is very easy to fall prey to an e-commerce scam. I have myself, simply because you go to a website, it looks perfectly legitimate.
Correct.
It has got the products that you want.
Yep.
You give your credit card number.
Yep.
And then you realize that...
Habis.
But,
because you go back to the site a few days later and the site is gone.
Free tickets from Singapore Airlines. I nearly fell off my chair.
Okay, forget about that because those are the kind of scams whereby they're trying to target you and tell you you've won something or it's too good to be true. Those I think are easy enough to resist because you just tell yourself if it's too good to be true, it obviously is.
But
if you're just doing normal cyber
Purchases.
online shopping,
yes,
right?
yes.
So the solution to this really is just to use PayPal because PayPal protects you. The thing about PayPal is that you're not giving your credit card number to anybody. You are paying PayPal through, you're paying the vendor through your PayPal account. Before someone can even accept PayPal payments, they have to put money into an escrow, basically.
Yeah.
So therefore, PayPal can take the money away from them.
Yeah.
And the PayPal will only pay the vendor if you receive your product.
Yes.
Actually,
Because
Shopee is the
this
same concept.
Correct.
You can
Yes.
put money in escrow.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Shopee
if you go
account.
with Shopee and Lazada, it's okay.
Correct, but this is for shopping. Some of the elderly, there was a scam, I remember, one of those which we picturized, about how this man from China, he actually found these older people and said, I've got gold bars. And he actually went to these elderly people and he showed, and one of them was an actual bar.
Yeah.
And they were in shock. And he said, I can give this to you only for $250,000. You buy it. And what they actually got was just, those chocolates which you
Yes.
get with
I
mean,
Yeah.
it's...
Of course, but those are few and far
Chocolate
between
bars.
now. Those are few and far between
No,
now.
true. But what I want to say, Gilbert, is that everything is becoming more and more sophisticated.
Complex.
Sophisticated, complex. Gosh, I tell you what happened to my husband. So he was getting these plus 65 calls and he was keeping on noticing a pattern. And he went back to his telco provider and he actually said that, is there some way because he's assuming that if that same number keeps coming up, let's say 20,000 times, and the telco provider can actually see that, is there some way by which the telco provider themselves can block that number? And at this stage, they said no. They said, we cannot do anything. You have to, if you see a pattern, you block that number. I think moving forward, as the scammers get more technologically savvy,
So must we.
sophisticated, we'll just have to take every step of the way and find, how we are going to deal with it.
Yeah, obviously. I think that's the empowerment of for all of us is just to be more aware of what is happening.
But you know
out
what
there.
Daisy said about why do people do this? I mean, why is there an increase? Well, obviously, during during circuit breaker or times when more people are getting online, as you said, more people are becoming more opportunistic to try and scam others. I really don't think it's because most of these cases occur by people who are desperate. They have mouths to feed.
No.
I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
I don't
It
think
really
so.
is a syndicate because you think about it this way, right? What we have to realize is cyberspace is borderless. I mean, if you're talking about Singapore crime, people want to commit crime in Singapore, they have to come into Singapore. But in cyberspace, it's borderless.
Absolutely.
Someone in Nigeria, someone in China, someone anywhere can just reach out. And I think Singaporeans, because of the years of safety and security here, have a very complacent attitude about crime.
Yep.
In the same way as when people travel overseas, they are always the ones that get pickpocketed the first, Singaporeans, get mugged the first because they walk around in Rome or in other
Them
cities
gundu lah, we all.
as if it's Singapore.
But Gilbert, you're absolutely spot on. I remember when we started, and just going back a bit on the scams, you remember that those scams?
Of course, so
and,
many.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then we went
Joke.
on to, I've received one long email
Yes.
saying that
You
somebody
inherited
is,
something.
yes, somebody's left me millions of dollars. And I'm like, I don't know a single person who's got $1 million. Who's going to leave that to me?
Yeah.
But now it's organized crime.
Yes,
Now
yes.
they are moving, they are getting more sophisticated, they are getting smarter. We're getting smarter, they're getting even more smarter.
Remember, there was a couple of episodes ago, we talked about something else. We talked about people who scam others by using your server, your IP address, right?
Yes.
And when the cops try to spot them, it goes as far as Bulgaria, man. I mean, it's like, you know.
Yes.
Croatia,
Yeah,
Bulgaria,
yeah,
we've
exactly.
been here.
And
So
Bulgaria is a place. Budapest is it's filled
Budapest is
with.
Hungary.
But
Oh, sorry.
I got,
Okay, Hungary.
Yeah.
Dude.
I
I'm
got a
just-
call.
Okay,
No, I'm gonna tell
Bulgaria
you.
is one, true enough.
Yeah,
There are
yeah,
scammers
yeah.
there, but
Not Budapest.
Let me finish.
Okay.
Budapest is like the capital of where all these scammers come from.
Yes.
Really, it's a whole place filled with.
Look, I don't know
Lots of
because
hackers
I
and-
got a call from somebody who said, and he had an Indian accent, okay? He had an Indian accent.
But
and
he was from Budapest.
He was from Budapest, Hungary, Guatemala. I don't know where he was from. But he told me there's
Smart
a virus which is there
Yes,
in
yes,
your...
yeah.
And I think for a second I was like, because I'm like, no. And then I heard in the way he was talking...
Yeah.
Then he said, of course, give me your login number and give me
Yes,
this.
exactly. He wants to
and I
control
was
your
like, oh, damn.
account.
But I told him, I said, I'm stupid, but not that stupid. Thank
Good
you
for
very
you.
much.
I've had a call like that too. A guy with a thick Indian accent.
I'll tell you this.
And
okay?
He was from Budapest.
No,
Exactly.
no. Let me just say this, okay, for everyone out there.
I told him
One
have a banana
way-
instead. Sorry.
Sorry. One way you can
Banana.
really tell when it's a scammer is when the grammar is bad. Okay. When I get messages, literally when this number called me and it was a recorded voice saying, "This is DBS, your account have problem." I said, "No, your English has problem."
No,
Wait, wait,
but you know,
wait,
Gilbert,
wait.
No,
You're
and I'm
saying-
telling you,
Come on.
basically,
Gilbert,
no,
I got
a
a
lot
call-
of times the grammar is just
I
atrocious.
don't
I
think
got to-
it's grammar. I think you can't say grammar. I know so many people who work in these places who call and say, "Hello,
No, that's not
No,
the
but
point.
I
are
got
you
to-
Mr. Clis?"
No, we're talking about
And the Singaporeans.
official correspondence.
You know, I got
Official
a call.
correspondence will not have that.
You're right.
grammar.
Wait. If you say if they've got a foreign accent, I agree.
No, this
But
is not an
because
accent.
of bad
This-
grammar.
No,
I'm
listen
gonna-
to me, Chris. This is
Chris.
a recorded announcement in a professional voice because they use the auto voice.
Correct.
But the grammar is
Yeah,
bad.
but I
So
got
if-
a call from somebody who spoke about the DBS account,
And there was a live guy, right?
and I don't have a DBS account.
Okay.
But it's a
well,
live
like,
guy.
ah,
lah.
He's,
It was a live call. It wasn't a
live call,
recorded
live
call,
call,
right?
live
It was-
call, live
yeah,
call.
I had a live call with a guy with a thick Indian
I'm
accent.
like, huh?
And I told
What
her,
happened?
"Oh, really? I tell you what, I'd like to deposit my banana with you.
And
Take my
But-
banana and deposit
but
it.
you know, you
so they don't take accounts. That
Enjoy.
Hey,
Chomp, chomp, chomp.
okay,
that.
all right.
Right.
He didn't hear that. He didn't hear that.
Okay. But okay, we've got your opinions already. Is there anything else you guys want to add before I hand over to dear Daisy to close the show?
No, before we close, we have to go through your ditty.
You want my
we have
ditty
to go-
first?
Yeah, please. Please, let's hear the ditty about the scam calls and the Koteks. I'm looking forward to that.
Today, quite not so stiff today, Bella. Chris's ditties.
Yeah, I think we need to once remove this mic and all and give you a close-up
Can see
shot.
not, can see not, can see
Huh,
not.
guys?
I think the people
Give
on
him a
Spotify are
close-up
lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, people, yeah. You said that before,
Okay,
lah.
go ahead,
Hello.
go ahead,
Use
go ahead.
something new, okay? Getting stale already.
All right, go
Facts
ahead.
are
Go ahead.
facts.
Yes,
Facts
Marty
remain the
pants.
same.
Okay,
Ditties.
here's my ditty.
Okay.
See, pretty girl, she's someone else's pearl. She's not yours for the taking. You touch, your pantat will kena caning. And we get so many of those calls trying to get us to fall into their trap and play their ball.
Oh,
I was being polite. Hey, let me finish. Then rude. No? Okay, continuing. Continuing.
Continue.
Later, you see your bank account. Then you realize you've been a clown. So please be clever about not leaving a trail and let other people pull your tail. Today's lesson, all must learn. stay safe and don't kena burn. Use your hands campaign is what we advocate.
Alamak.
Use it well before it's too late. The end.
Thank God.
I just want to say that I don't know much about this hands campaign.
That's not true.
Next
That's what
time, next time we will
you
have
had
to
a long
interview,
discussion with me before we started this
interview
show.
You about
You know
what
very well what Use Your
Please,
Hands
let's not.
campaign is
Go on,
all
go on,
about.
go on,
Please,
go on.
let's not.
Gilbert even
Thank
knew
you.
about it.
Okay,
Gilbert spoke to
Gilbert.
me about it over the phone.
Okay, Gilbert, go ahead, please.
Don't slander me.
This is the way they scam.
That's
you
not
see?
s-
No, Gilbert, this is the scam. This is lies.
Hello?
This is fake news.
Can I speak to Professor Gilbert
Please.
Chia, please?
Okay.
Okay.
Gilbert Chia, can you please say something?
With regards to the cyber scams, everybody just please be careful. The world is a cruel, mean, and horrible place.
Very negative, no you. Walao, eh.
And it's incumbent upon each of us to protect ourselves and to protect the ones that we love. And if you take that attitude, at least with respect to cyberspace itself, then it leaves you a lot of protection, gives you a lot of protection, and you can then be kind in real life. I'd much rather you be kind in real life and be suspicious online than the other way around, which a lot of people mistakenly do. So be safe and be kind.
Well, you really think
Okay.
the world is such an evil,
Now,
horrible place.
I'd like to
Online world.
And you don't have piles.
Online world.
Oh,
Okay,
boy.
I'd like to close.
Yes, please.
I'm not listening to this. I need to close the show. I just want to say that we are living in a world which is getting more sophisticated, and so are the methods of scamming. So, we should be guarding our own systems now with greater care and intensity. Because ultimately, this is going to get so sophisticated that, in the words of Victor J. Stenger, who's a physicist, he said, selling eternal life will be an unbeatable business. The scams will get so bad that selling eternal life will be an unbeatable business, with no customers ever asking for their money back after the goods are not delivered. So, on that tongue-in-cheek note, I say on behalf of my IOHO team, please listen to us, watch us, follow us, like us on the social media feeds. We are not a scam, though half of, I'm not going to mention. And yes, on FB, Instagram, and YouTube. The audio version is also on Spotify and YouTube.
And iTunes.
This is not a scam. Namaste, namaste.
And remember, Gilbert said,
Cut
stay
mic.
protected.
Cut mic.
And he's not talking about rubber. Bye,
Namaste,
everybody.
namaste. Why do you always have to say something at the end?
Oh my God, please cut.
Good.